The murder that shocked a nation. A gunshot woke a Hillcrest Circle resident northeast of Chapel Hill and UNC on March 5, 2008. The scene darkened with a woman's scream and 3 more gunshots. Fearful of investigating, the resident contacted 911 immediately. A young woman, likely in her 20s, was found dead near Hillcrest Road and Circle, alarming the arriving police. Authorities question if robbery motivated the murder since no identifying evidence was found. The perpetrator's callousness was revealed afterward. A young woman roughly 5 feet 5 inches tall and 138 pounds was the victim. Handgun bullets wounded her many times. Her age and tiny stature showed she was a local university student. Chapel Hill was devastated when news of the disaster spread. When the victim's friends and roommates learned she had returned home as expected, they called the police for comfort. However, the grave situation became obvious quickly. A grave look at the victim's body revealed the crime's severity, shocking and grieving the community. Let's analyze Eve Carson's life and achievements to understand her outstanding qualities. Born in Athens, Georgia on November 19, 1985, Eve was raised by her loving parents, Teresa and Bob Carson, and brother Andrew. Eve excelled academically and led at Clark Central High School early on. She always obtained straight A grades for her academic achievements. Eve had an impact beyond the classroom. She was popular with her peers after winning the student body presidential election with 55% of the vote. She was also class valedictorian. Eve was endearing to everyone she met, even despite her academic achievements, due to her giving, warmth, and charisma. Her town loved her, and friends, peers, and teachers trusted her. Her landslide student body presidential election victory showed her widespread affection and leadership skills. Remembering Eve Carson shows her influence went beyond her academic achievements. Her energy and positivity had a lasting influence on everyone she knew. Eve Carson exceeded her duties as student body president. An emotional video presentation to her students exemplified her open and inviting leadership style. Eve smiled and welcomed returning and new UNC students as members of the Carolina family. She toured the student government office, emphasizing its support and representation and student services. Eve encouraged her peers to take advantage of campus opportunities, showing her commitment to student and community engagement. Eve highlighted student-run organizations like Student Television and the Daily Tar Heel campus projects like Campus Y and the Millennium Village Project as ways for students to influence the world. Eve encouraged her students to contact her outside of her formal duties, emphasizing her genuine desire to connect and help them find their campus participation paths. Everything she said was friendly, accessible, and genuinely concerned for her students. Eve Carson's impact on UNC went beyond her student body presidency. She embodied leadership, community, and service, leaving a legacy of kindness, inclusivity, and inspiration for future students. Eve Carson's death left many grieving, and the community struggled to comprehend the inexplicable tragedy. Eve's infectious energy, infinite compassion, and excellent leadership left a lasting impression on everyone she met. In addition to her leadership and academic achievements, Eve was dedicated to community service and international involvement. Over the summers, she worked as a medical assistant on a coffee plantation and taught locals computer skills in Ghana, Ecuador, and Egypt. Eve's selflessness showed her genuine desire to improve the world and her unwavering dedication to assisting others. Eve intentionally chose a public school despite offers from Princeton and Yale. She attended UNC on the Moorhead-Keynes Scholarship. Eve led many UNC clubs and community projects while excelling academically. She was selected as a North Carolina Fellow and given entry to a 4-year leadership program for her exceptional leadership and community service. Eve also helped with Girls on the Run, which helps girls gain confidence and self-esteem, and treated kids at surrounding elementary and middle schools. Eve Carson's sudden death surprised and grieved the Chapel Hill community. Her murder's circumstances are still unknown, and detectives are currently investigating. Despite diligent efforts, investigators found more questions than answers, adding to the community's confusion and incredulity. In the investigation, police sought phone logs, financial documents, and Eve's SUV's forensics. Her car was found near the crime scene, raising questions about her death. The discovery by forensic analysis that Eve's computer had been used for hours after her roommates last saw her complicated the case.
Investigators are working every lead in the search for Eve Carson's killer. They're going through every inch of her SUV. It's believed the killer shot her in a neighborhood near campus, then took off in her truck.
Despite persistent efforts, the case went unsolved, leaving the community grieving and uncertain. Eve Carson's unexpected death reminded us of life's transience and the power of one individual. While grieving her death, the community pledged to continue her legacy of charity, compassion, and selflessness. The discovery of Eve Carson's attempted bank account withdrawals helped explain her disappearance. Multiple attempts were made to withdraw cash from an ATM near the University Mall in Chapel Hill, north of the university campus where Eve's body was recovered at 3:55 a.m., 21 minutes after her computer's last activity. These failed, totaling the $700 daily withdrawal limit. ATM security cameras caught the individual trying to use Eve's card. The shaky video showed a young man in a black cap and hoodie and a second individual in the car's back passenger seat. Due to poor photos, investigators added color and increased tape resolution to identify the people. The car figures remain unidentified despite these efforts. Additional attempts to withdraw money from Eve's account at 4:44 a.m. on the same day suggested the culprit or perpetrators were still at work. Eve made her first ATM transaction with other passengers in the car, raising questions about her captivity. These revelations gave detectives leads to solve Eve Carson's death mystery. The ATM film shed light on her tragic demise, suggesting a breakthrough in the investigation and the possibility of apprehending her killers. By late March 2008, the Eve Carson death investigation had proceeded dramatically. CCTV footage helped police identify and arrest criminals Demario Atwater and Lawrence Lovett. Both of these persons had criminal records and were crucial to the investigation. Demario Atwater, 21, had a criminal history including parole violations and felony offenses. His robbery and violent record showed he was a serial offender. He was the leading suspect for Eve Carson's murder due to his proximity to the crime scene and resemblance to the security film. Even at 17, Lawrence Lovett had a criminal record that included larceny and burglary. Even at his senior age, he faced significant charges. Lovett was also linked to the surveillance photos, making him and Atwater guilty. The Chapel Hill and Durham police departments, security footage, and community assistance helped arrest Atwater and Lovett. The community found consolation in the case, but Eve Carson's sadness persisted. Mayor Kevin Foy praised the investigation's progress but stressed the community's need for healing and support. As March ended, Atwater and Lovett were charged with first-degree murder for Carson's death. The case highlighted the challenges of criminal investigations and the need for technology and community involvement in justice. The court efforts against Demario Atwater and Lawrence Lovett after Eve Carson's tragic murder show enormous anguish and senseless brutality. The case highlighted the offender's horrific acts and legal system inadequacies. Atwater and Lovett were indicted with multiple charges due to the magnitude and intricacy of the crimes. Eve Carson's case had substantial evidence, but Lawrence Lovett was acquitted of P.J. Mahado's murder. The two committed a well-planned, horrific crime motivated by opportunity and avarice. Demario Atwater's confession and guilty plea spared him the death penalty, unlike Lawrence Lovett's not guilty plea. Lawrence's retrial and sentence adjustments were due to legal issues. Eve Carson's tragic death affected her neighborhood and beyond. Her exceptional personality, dedication to helping others, and bright future were crushed by two people driven by money and a disregard for life. Systemic probation oversight and accountability issues were also shown by the case. Probation authorities' poor monitoring of Atwater's behavior before the crime cast doubt on supervision and prevention. Due to her generosity and kindness, Eve Carson's scholarship and legacy live on. Even if justice was done legally, the awful loss of a brilliant young life underscores the need for community assistance and awareness of violence. Would you like it? Hit the like button and subscribe to our channels for more interesting and informative videos.